Chair Griffin, we are now live.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Griffin, Chair, and I would like to welcome you to the January 11th, 2024 African American Heritage Commission virtual meeting. We will now call our meeting to order. The City County African American Heritage Commission consists of 9 members. 3 of those members are appointed by Asheville City Council. Three are appointed by Buncombe County Board of Commissioners, and 3 are appointed by 6 appointed members. The commission is to advise the City Council and County Commissioners about the preservation, interpretation, and promotion of African American arts, history, and culture. All committee members and staff are participating virtually. We are streaming live on our virtual engagement hub, which is accessible through the virtual engagement hub link on the front page of the city website and also linked on the committee page. We also have an option for the public to listen by phone by dialing 855-925-2801, entering meeting code 9409. For those of you who plan to speak during our live public comment today, you would need to hit *3 to be put in the speaker queue. I will now go through and introduce all committee members and staff who are participating virtually. For our committee members, please make sure to mute your microphone if you are not speaking. When you have a question or would like to speak, click raise hand. And when recognized by the chair, unmute your microphone. Please remember to mute your phone after you are done speaking. Committee members, as I call your name, please say a quick hello. Tiffany Debolo.
Hello.
Who else is here? Oh, Shalinda Pruitt.
Hi.
And hello, everyone. I'm Aaron Griffin. Staff and guests attending. We have Brenda Mills, Director of Equity Inclusion, City of Asheville.
Good afternoon, everyone.
We have Leonard Jones, Community Engagement Specialist, Buncombe County.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Sandra Kilgore, City Council Liaison.
Hi, how are you all?
And we have, I'm sorry, did I miss someone? Okay. We have our guest, Anthony Thomas, Chair of the YMI Culture Center Board of Directors.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here.
And we also have Kendra French.
City of Asheville. Good evening.
Good. Very, very nice to meet you, Kendra. To help our audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. Again, I ask committee members to click raise hand and be recognized to speak. Please state your name each time you comment. Just a reminder that the public is listening on the phone, and this keeps them up to date on the order of the meeting and who is commenting or speaking. First on our agenda, we have approval of minutes, but I'm not sure that we have quorum today, so we're going to move on to staff updates. And first, we have City Staff Liaison Brenda Mills.
All right, thank you. I'm going to let Leonard go first because we're waiting for Salaga to get here. I think she's running late from our meeting. Thank you.
All right. County Staff Liaison Leonard Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. Some of the updates from the county, I have one, especially with Black History Month coming up next month. So we would like you to join Buncombe County Special Collections and our partners for the Thomas Wolfe Memorial and Vance Birthplace State Historic Site for a mini symposium examining the issue of race in Thomas Wolfe's Asheville and how those things continue to impact our community in the present. These will be held at the Lord Auditorium, which is at the Downtown Public Library, Pack Memorial Library, and it's February the 13th. So on February the 13th, they're having a readers theater, and talkback. And that's presenting a section from Thomas Wolfe, Welcome to Our City, and a complete reading of The Road by Andrea Clark, followed by a facilitated discussion. And then on February the 17th, there will be a lecture and panel discussion, and Dr. Darren Waters and Kevin Young will present short lectures on Thomas Wolfe's examination of race and his work. So Welcome to Our City and The Child by Tiger, followed by a facilitated Q&A. And so that's just an event coming up through Special Collections, and it'll be at the Pat Memorial Library. Again, them dates are February the 13th, as well as February the 17th of 2024. And just a reminder that in 2024, it is an election year. So from the Board of Elections, they have a lot of opportunities in which they are trying to recruit poll workers and individuals to help out at polls. Some of those positions do have compensation with it. And also, it's just to let everyone know it is an election year, so just trying to get the efforts out for people to be informed and go out and vote. And that is my update from Buncombe County. Thank you.
Okay, next we have City Liaison Sandra Kilgore. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. I only have one update for you guys. And, I tell you, this is very difficult for me, but I'd like to do a tribute to one of our members who's been with the city for years, as well as Buncombe County. She's dedicated much of her life to doing community work, and she's done so much for the city of Asheville and the community. And well, I guess you all know, talking about Miss Brenda Mills, who basically is she will be retiring as of January the 31st, and, a great loss for the city. But Brenda joined the city of Asheville in 2005 and has served on different roles, including Minority Business Program Manager, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act Project Manager, Administrative Services Manager, Economic Development Specialist, Neighborhood and Community Engagement Specialist, and most recently, our Director of Equity and Inclusion. And Brenda's a strong and experienced leader, and she leaves behind her a great legacy. And I just want to, let you all be aware. And Brenda, would you like to say a few words to us, before, This will probably be your last meeting with us. So
it is.
I'd like for you to say a few words, but we are so proud of you. And I know even though you say you're leaving, you're not really leaving. I'm quite sure we're going to see you everywhere. But we just want to tell you how proud and thankful and grateful we are for all the work you've done for us.
Sandra, you're very kind. I really do appreciate you. First, I want to thank you for your service, because being an elected official is not an easy job. Governing is not an easy job. Whatever people may think, it is not. And you do it with grace. And so we do appreciate. Please don't send stuff in the chat. I'll cut that off. Please don't chat. We're in a virtual meeting. So that's one of the things I won't say. But my retirement final day is January 31st. That's also the reception for my retirement at the Harrah's Banquet Hall from 3 to 7. We try to do a couple hours before people get off work, and a couple hours after for those who you have to work up until like 5 and 6 o'clock. There'll be food, and my family's coming, so you'll see I wasn't gotten from a Cabbage Patch. So really excited. It's an exciting time for me. I've thought about retirement probably for the last 10 years, and I can't imagine what it would feel like to not have to work. And so I've spent the last year learning how not to do that. And so I don't know that I will ever stop, but I'll take a little break and then I'll be back. I'll have more to say later, but it has been my honor and my pleasure to work with all of you. Each of you in your own right is so amazing and so wonderful. We have some opportunities for you coming up, which we'll talk about later. So that's all for me. Our Our newly appointed director is running late from a meeting. I'm not sure if she will be able to join us, but I'll introduce her later. And then I just wanted to let you know that, her name is Salamanaya Merritt. She started on Monday. She'll be shadowing me until the end of the month. And then she knows she can call me if she needs me. And we have our next Reparations Commission meeting on January 22nd because MLK holiday is on Monday. So if you can come and join it or at least watch the meeting, your support is always appreciated. So thank you very much for this time.
Thank you. So that's it for the updates. That's it for now. I'd like to say hello to Mr. Oliver. How are you, sir?
Hello, everyone. Fantastic. Glad I can make it. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. I'm gonna miss that, so your replacement better come in strong. Happy to be here and see some faces. Not really familiar with everyone, and sorry I missed yesterday, but as you saw that right there, work and that little one keep me crazy busy, but I'm here now.
Yes, sir. All right, so next we're moving on to number 4, unfinished business. I don't have an update yet for the PAC Vision project unless Councilwoman Kilgore know anything, since the December the 2nd. So I haven't really heard anything. So as soon as I get back, see what's going on, I'll bring it back to the commission and let everyone know what's going on with that. So this is the great thing, number 5, y'all. New business. Let's talk about it. The annual report is due on the 19th. So I hope everyone had a chance to look over it.
Chair Griffin, let me pull it up so we can take a quick gab at it, and we can talk about any edits. We can do those right here as we're, in the meeting, and then if you're satisfied with it, we just need you to vote on it. How about that?
Okay.
All right. I am pulling that up now, if it will let me. There we go. Can everyone see it? I cannot see your face, so you can't say yes. Just somebody tell me you can see it.
I can see it.
Awesome. Thank you. So I haven't changed a lot. I want to thank Tiffany so much for your extra information that you sent. But I added the Black Cultural Heritage Trail. Aaron, Chair Griffin serves as a tour guide. Shalinda, what date was that? I think it was the 15th, right? December 15th.
I think it was the 15th.
Yes, yes, for the ribbon cutting. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I obviously I got off on another thought. So if you guys would take a few minutes to look at, what I emailed and see if there was anything else. I kind of updated your goals. I kind of talked about the possible transition of your missing and goals to the YMI. I talked about connecting with local historic resources, which is what you still want to do, and then continued support of PAC Square, the former Vance Monument area visioning led by Planning and Urban Design. Listing of your members. The rest of this will come off. That was just linked so you can go back and look at some of the things that you've done. Is there anything else? I think, Leonard, did I put in here about working with the county? Yes. Review of the mission and vision for African American heritage and work with Buncombe County Community Engagement Team. Do you want to say anything more about that in particular, Leonard?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. All righty.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure, that I captured. Are there other things that you did that I just did not capture? Meetings you attended or any kind of participation you did in other things? I know Ms. Catherine worked on the trail, and I'll make sure that that's in there. I forgot to put her there. This was her brainchild.
But I think it's, for the most part, as far as us, the community engagement piece, I think, we did explore different organizations and community groups. It's trying to get a feel like what's really happening with those groups and in our community. I think
You attended meetings to do that, Village Roundtable.
Village Roundtable, different meetings, just sort of this, to see like exactly what's happening with different groups and organizations, and trying to figure out, what we can do to help contribute to those organizations.
Okay. Was there other organizations that you could think of right offhand?
I mean, as far as like Southside and
So you did Southside? Southside.
Southside, Shiloh.
You did. Yeah.
I know Miss Mitchell attended a lot of East End meetings as well.
Okay, perfect. Just chatting about how you might be able to support or work with them on projects. That's good to know. The annual report is not due until next, what's the date? It's March 12th, due next Friday. So if you're thinking of anything now, between now and midday Friday, let me know. I'm gonna kind of clean this up and send it back out for you guys to take a look at, along with your action minutes. And I promise you will get that on Monday. And then if you don't have anything else, we'll just, send this on as your final report. But if you can think of anything. Yes, ma'am, it's Tiffany.
Tiffany Debelo here. So also, Commission Chair Michael Hayes, he was the MC for the East End Valley Street Heritage Festival. But he mentioned several times the African American Heritage Commission. And also, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
And the mention also came during the Juneteenth Festival that was headed by the MLK Association.
And most of y'all attended, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, myself and Michael Hayes were MCs on 2 different occasions.
All right.
And also the crime prevention too.
What's the crime prevention?
It's crime prevention is community health workers. We had it. It's from the county. It's a county organization.
Yeah, with the justice services.
Yes.
Can you give me a link or something to that, Leonard?
Yes, I can do that.
Perfect. And if that was Chair Griffin, the chair and the vice chair?
Yes, and Miss Debelo was there.
And Miss Debelo. Great. Okay. Awesome. This is filling up, man.
Yeah, we're trying to stop some of the violence.
Absolutely. Well, if we could get a motion to approve your annual report with the addition of the information we just talked about, you don't have to go into detail, that would be appreciated.
I make a motion to approve as read.
And amended.
Ma'am.
And amended.
And amended.
And amended. I make a motion to approve as read and amended.
Okay.
Ms. Debelo?
I'm sorry. It's just I forgot the P on speculative project for Art in the Heart.
I got that in there.
Okay, perfect.
Then what is P?
Oh, so it's spelled speculative, but it's speculative.
Oh, okay. Well, just make sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Speculative. Okay. All right. There's a motion on the floor.
Tiffany Debelo here. I second.
Do we have a?
Wait a minute. Do we have a quorum?
No, we don't. I don't believe so.
1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry.
4. We have 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because Aaron cannot. Sorry.
I got too happy. Do they have to vote on annual reports, or they just have to accept them? Do you know Sandra? I can't remember. You're muted.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, so.
Okay. I've been texting folks, so I don't know.
How many do you need, Brenda?
5. We just need one more.
Okay, so you got Brandon, Cassandra, Tiffany.
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna send Mr. McAfee the link if I can get it to him. We need one more. He just joined with the county. He just found out too. So let me see if I can add him to this meeting notice.
I actually was speaking to him home. That's the reason why I was late. He's on his way to his home now. He didn't know.
He thought it was in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he will be on. So if we can put something off for a few minutes, he should be good.
That sounds great. We can start talking about the other stuff and that just kind of talk a little bit about, where we are with the transition. If you want to do that.
All right. So at this point, do we want to let's introduce Anthony Thomas, the chair of the YMI Culture Center. Our guest. Is he there?
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm here. And Brenda, I don't know if you want to, I don't know how much everybody knows about the discussions that we've been having and how you want me to lead into that.
Well, I'll be glad to cue us up a little bit. And Chair Griffin, if you have anything, that would be great. So as I told you in December, one of the things that's been on my heart is to start aligning this particular board with like-minded organizations that would allow you to have more activity and more action in terms of Black art, culture, and history. Our department is more of a social justice department in terms of equity. And while we love you guys dearly, we just do not have the capacity to work in that capacity. With all the new stuff that's been happening with the YMI, I had taken a tour maybe about 6 months ago when all the walls weren't even plastered up, and got really excited about the work that they were doing. I had some conversations with if you remember, myself and Chair Griffin met with Anthony Thomas, who's the chair of YMI, as well as Alexandria Ravenel, who's part of their board. And they were very delighted to hear about the possibility of us maybe moving your mission and vision over to their board. So I shared their 4 tenets. You should have those by email. And then let's, Chair Griffin, if you have anything else to say, we're just gonna let Anthony get started. Anthony, your camera is off. Did you know that?
Oh, no. I did not. No wonder he was looking for me. I didn't realize that went off, brother.
That's okay. That's okay. And if you want to go ahead and get started, we all took a tour. Tiffany, thank you for being there. I think others of you could not make it. But Tiffany and Salamana Merritt, who now is online with us here, our new Director of Equity and Inclusion. City Manager attended, Pam Myers from the Asheville Art Museum. We had a couple of Leonard Jones, another representative from the county representing Dr. Norio Armstrong in the Human Rights Office was there. And so it was a pretty good group, and we got more than a dime tour from the chair. So I'm going to let you get fired up, Mr. Anthony Thomas, and thank you so much for being willing to be here with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. As Brenda stated, Mr. Chair and Brenda and I sat down and we had a conversation around the work that you all have been doing here locally. Based on those initial conversations, it seemed like there was some potential synergy around the work that you all are already doing and what we see based on our newly created strategic plan at the YMI, how those things could possibly come together. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not one of those board chairs who acts unilaterally. I was very upfront with Aaron and I was very upfront with Brenda that whatever we come up with, it would be something that I would need to run by the board. But I did not want to preempt having those conversations with the board until I had the conversations with this particular group. following up on that conversation, I took the liberty of sending Brenda, which she stated is in your email, some of the directives that came out of a board and staff retreat that we had way back in April. As you all know, we're going through a major transition at the YMI in so many different ways. But that retreat was very pivotal for us in terms of us looking for new leadership, us getting ready to have a brand new building opening up and what we want to see coming out of that building. And then, reassessing how the YMI has done its work in the past and how we might be able to do things differently in the future. I.e., one of those things that we looked at was not trying to be all things to everybody, but finding mutually beneficial partnerships with work that's already being done in the community. So in saying that, I'll just share some of the strategic directives that came out of that retreat. Again, I think if you go through those directives, you'll see a lot of alignment in terms of the work that you all have already been doing, and that the YMI may be able to just bolster some of that work or support some of that work, whatever that relationship is going to look like. So our strategic directive number one is solidifying the YMI as the cornerstone of the Black experience. And under that, we have several activities in terms of how we want to move in that direction, which is, promoting a unified identity, connecting to community, expanding our stakeholder support, and strengthening the Black economic imprint. And there are a lot of bullet points that are under, each one of those. So, I implore you to take a look at the graphic that Brenda, I don't want to read to y'all, but, I'm going to give you the high points. So if you want to take a look at those in your email, and then if you have any questions, I'm accessible. Feel free to reach out to me if you need clarity around them. But I'm going to give you the high points. So our first directive is solidifying the YMI as the cornerstone of the Black experience. Our second directive is increasing our impact through efficient operations. As I mentioned, we're in the process right now. We're going through interviews. Can you all hear me okay? Okay.
Yes.
We're currently going through executive director interviews as we speak. We had 4 candidates lined up, which are really, really strong, that have applied for the position. By tomorrow, we should have that narrowed down to 2. And then from there, what we'll do is we'll ask those 2 candidates to come in, and we'll reach out to stakeholders and partners and other local organizations to be part of that interview process. So some of y'all can expect to get that invite when we get that nailed down. But as part of our directive of increasing our impact through efficient operations, we want things to operate differently. One of the things that I've found in my 30 years here in Asheville is it's been a long time since the YMI has had some structured leadership. There's been a lot of passion, but a lot of people that really love the YMI, but have 5 million other things going on as well. And one of our goals has been to really put in the infrastructure that we feel the YMI needs to be successful. So we plan on doing that through strengthening our programs, improving our internal operations, and ensuring transparent and enduring governance. Okay, so again, there are some bullet points that are under that. You can read through those on the handout that Brenda sent. And then the last directive is ensuring sustainable resources to fulfill our mission. And so we plan on doing that through creating financial sustainability and optimizing our facilities. So being good stewards of monies from our funders, going and seeking, the dollars to keep our doors open, but also optimizing our facilities. As Brenda said, a number of them came on the tour yesterday. If you haven't been in the YMI in a long time, we have maximized our space in the building. We are currently building out both a leasing and an event pro forma to generate revenue for the organization. And we feel strongly that through our pro forma, the YMI will be able to be sustainable going into the future, as opposed to chasing grants and tailoring our programs around whatever monies are available. So those are our directives, and I'll read them out just real quick because I know I'm going all over the place. Solidifying the YMI as a cornerstone of the Black experience, increasing our impact through efficient operations, and ensuring sustainable resources for the future of our mission. Are there any questions around that? And so where I see the alignment, specifically when we begin to have this conversation, is in our strategic directive, number 1, which is being the cornerstone of the Black experience. And as I gave the tour yesterday, and I mentioned to some of the folks that were on that tour, our vision at the YMI is not only to even service just Buncombe County. There are pockets of Black folk in Transylvania County. You go down to Brevard, you go out to Waynesville or whatever. How do we engage those folks who don't have as many resources as we have here, and bringing them into our experience here in Asheville as well? And we want the YMI to be kind of that centerpiece where those things happen. We don't want to absorb anybody. We don't want to take over the work that people are already doing, but how can we accentuate the work that's already being done? And we got the space to do it. So, are there any questions for me? And did I miss anything, Brenda?
There was a couple of questions from the last meeting. One centered on, what does this model look like with African American heritage coming to the YMI? I sort of mentioned to them what you and I talked about in terms of an advisory board or maybe an advisory committee.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we could talk a little bit about, what that might look like.
Well, as I said, first I wanted to see, even if you all were interested in even having that conversation. In our bylaws, we are allowed to establish committees, advisory boards, or what have you. I mean, that would have to be a conversation that we would have as we, obviously, after I've talked to my board about what we're entertaining, because I haven't had that conversation. But once we got past that conversation, then I think it's going to have to be something that we come up with that's mutually beneficial for both entities. Again, we're not looking to absorb anybody or take over anybody, but at the same time, we're not looking for anybody to take over the YMI. We are very clear in our mission, right? And so when I say solidifying the YMI as a cornerstone of the Black experience, what I envision when we started having these conversations, we will have a position that's on our future org chart, for instance, where Miss Alexandra will be moving into a position of our director of culture and events and community engagement, right? So that's a whole nother piece that this particular organization or this particular entity could fit into, all things cultural that are coming up out of the YMI, and how do we partner to bring whatever projects or whatever it is that we come up with, how do we bring that to the community together? Does that answer that question? Okay, good. What was some other questions, Brenda?
I think there was some issues around, access to the council and the board of commissioners. And what I mentioned to them was that they would, cease to be a public board. But one of the things, as part of the motion that I'm proposing that you make, is that you would still have ex officio members from the city and the county, so that there would be that mutual, reporting back and forth to the city and county about how you're doing. Within a year, looking at an evaluation of what's happened, how has the transition been, that kind of stuff. There is not additional funding. I think we talked a little bit about that, but there is funding that was provided. The county and the city provided $10,000 each when there was maintenance being done on the Vance Monument some time back. The African American Heritage Commission still has $10,000, so that would come with them. for projects that of that nature, which we know you know would be mutually beneficial to you all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Other questions, folks?
And was there any part of the directives or what have you that weren't really clear?
No, I just on the flip side of that, it's really nothing to do with the YMI, but my only concern would be losing, even though we're losing. I don't even know if it's losing really, but being able to advise council on issues that impact policy. That's the piece that I'm kind of concerned with.
And I had that conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Aaron, but I had mentioned that to Brenda as well. So I'm a firm believer in not having entities or associations or whatever else that doesn't have any teeth or can't hold folks accountable when things come up.
Right.
So however that looks, I'm with you on that. So I don't know how we address that, Brenda. I mean, you may have.
Here's how we address it. And welcome, Dwayne McAfee. This is your new county representative, Mr. Dwayne McAfee. Welcome.
Mr. Mac.
You're muted.
You like saying that, don't you?
I love it. You're muted.
Hello, everyone.
Vice Mayor Kilgore, I'm going to say a few things, and if you could also speak to this, I would really appreciate that. Right now, you are still an advisory board. You are not a quasi-judiciary board. So like planning and zoning, even with planning and zoning, historic resources, those are quasi-judicial boards, and they are also set up by statute. Even in those recommendations, it is still the final decision of the governing body of the city of Asheville and Buncombe County to make the final decision about, policy and things of that nature. I think you would have a stronger advocate being aligned with the YMI and working on specific projects. They are going to hire a new executive director that they've done an extensive search for. They're putting together a strong team for operations. They've got a strategic goal. And so some of the things that you could recommend to the city and county, you still can bring those to the city and county. You still can get on the agenda of city and county. That's the whole point of keeping the city and county representatives as ex officio members. We don't vote. We're just there to support. Does that make sense to everybody? Vice Mayor Kilgore, would you like to speak to any of that? I'm not sure if she had to step away or not.
Ms. Debolo.
Tiffany Debolo here again. Going back to the county and city ex officio, that's only for 1 year. Is that correct?
No, we're gonna evaluate in 1 year.
Okay.
I'm assuming we would keep representation on for a number of years, but I didn't want to state what that was. That's not up to me. I think if you say we'd like to have ex officio members for 5 years, and then we can reevaluate or whatever, you can modify the motion that I have that I'm presenting to you today, however you want, and that way, we can go from there. I really, one of the things I want. And I'm saying this as much for the public as I am for you as a board. You have power. You just don't use it, right? You don't show up to meetings with, you hear all those people in public comment. But as a board, you can make part of that is in your annual report, right? If you made a recommendation or a policy, or you see things coming up that you think would be of concern and that you would like to put on the council's agenda, you can do that. That's what Vice Mayor Kilgore has been here for. She brings you information from the council and what's going on, but she can also take things back for you. And if you would like to have some, higher representation, we can discuss that as well. But I don't want you to feel like you don't have power. You do. I'm trying to find Ms. Kilgo because I know she's had Wi-Fi issues in the past. I want her to kind of speak to that. I know she has Wi-Fi issues out where she lives. So, other questions? And nothing speaks to power more than action, right? So if you are actively working on projects and things, working in collaboration with other organizations, that speaks power and that speaks volumes for the kinds of things that you would see or want, maybe the city to implement. How many of you know that we have a 1% for public art? Actually, I wrote the policy. So the city put in the ordinance for us to have a 1%. So any new construction, a renovation starting at 500,000 or new construction over $1 million. So in other words, that new fire station we put down on Boundary Street has public art on it. And so those are kinds of policies that we've worked on in the past. And there's more we can do, right? One of the things I mentioned to you before was maybe talking to the city and county about funding for the arts, culture, and history out of the reparations funds. So, the sky's the limit. You're only limited by your imagination. Other questions? Mr. McAfee, I'm so sorry. You're having to play catch up. Well, do you have questions or would you like us to do a quick rundown of what we're trying to do?
Mr. McAfee doesn't like to talk too much until he, so right now I'm just absorbing, but I'm fine.
Okay. So did Commissioner Oliver kind of give you a blowdown of everything? No. So basically what I'm recommending, Mr. McAfee, is that we look at transitioning the African American Heritage Commission from the city and county as a commission to an advisory committee, whatever, up under the YMI, which has a like mission, in order for them to see more activity and more things happening in terms of their mission and their vision.
And what does the committee, what does the group feel about that?
I can't answer for you.
Well, initially, I think it's a great idea as far as being able to work with the YMI extremely close. But on the other side, I also, I think about 2014 when the city and county decided that we need this commission. So I'm sort of like, I want to work closely with the Y, but I'm also concerned with, if we're missing something, as far as the move. Because just like the Reparations Commission, they need more time. And, this commission should be vocal on that, as far as recommending it to council. We should be vocal on that. So things like that is sort of got me kind of concerned, But as far as working with the YMI, I think it's a great idea. And working close with the YMI, I think is a fantastic idea. But it's some other things that I'm kind of concerned that they don't fall through the wayside. So that's how I feel about it. But
Commissioner Oliver?
Yeah.
You're muted.
Boy, she loves it. Commissioner Oliver here. I agree with everything that was just said. My skeptical side is, what do we lose from the county/city, if anything? That was it. That was all.
So this, I don't know the decorum. I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. McAfee.
Just state your name when you get before you talk.
Dwayne McAfee. So if I understand this correctly, this was convened in 2014
Mhm.
and it was put together at the bequest of the city, the county, or
There was a
I mean,
grassroots group that wanted this to happen.
okay.
And I was here. It was put together at sometime, I think it started around 2013, having discussions with both the city council and the board of commissioners. When it was formed in 2014, this commission has never really had a significant home. So like planning and zoning is in planning and urban design, historic resources is in planning and urban design, the urban forestry is down in public works, where they deal with permitting. This commission has never really had a real home and liaisons that could help move the needle forward as far as, activities between, around art, history, and culture. They started with Parks and Rec, which sort of made sense because we were dealing with the Vance Monument. The other thing was I already had a board, which is the Public Art and Culture Commission. And then I think when some things shifted with parks, you were being, the liaison for that was out of the city manager's office. And then when equity was formed, you got put in equity department. And I don't feel like it's the appropriate place because there's just not the capacity to do what you need in terms of activities. I think Tiffany was first and then Mr. Anthony.
Tiffany Debelo here again. I just really quick just want to say that when it comes to a local government aspect, representation matters. And to come out of a city and county space and then have a home at the YMI would remove us from that representing body. Also, we have the opportunity to work closely with the YMI regardless, not just coming out of the city, but to be tightly aligned with the YMI efforts. And lastly, I haven't been on this commission long, but I would love to see the skill sets that I bring to be able to help move the needle forward before we just kind of come out of a space of the political arena to now focus solely on the arts. As Chair Griffin mentioned, there's lots of things that we could use our voice and lean into in support of things around equity that's within the city and county. So I just would love for us to also consider that as well.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas?
I just want to be really, really clear. And I think, Aaron, when we met the first time, I want to be really, really clear. This is not the YMI wanting to take over something and absorb something. When we had that initial conversation, I got plenty on my plate and on my mind that the heritage, y'all were not even on my mind. I got so much going on. But when it got brought to me in terms of what your charge is and the work that we see the YMI going forward, to me, it made sense. But I want to be really clear that if folks are not, 100% on board with it, I'm rolling how we roll. I still got to keep moving. As Tiff said, the YMI still got to do what it's got to do, and there'll be plenty of opportunities that we can do things together and we can partner or whatever else. But I just want to be really, really clear about that and really transparent about that.
Thank you, sir. Brenda?
Brenda Mills again. Tell me what you're losing in specific. I want to know specifically what you are losing. That you would lose when you went to YMI. What are you losing? Tell me what projects you've done. I want to know. Mr. Brandon, go for it.
Just for me, an aspect is, like Commissioner Debelo said, having that backing of the county and city just on things that's psychologically powerful, especially to the people that we use, more willing to trust and be a part of if the local government is supporting it, backing it, and you're on like that. That's about the only thing that I truly can say. To me, that's a powerful piece. And if we could still continue to tie in or partner with, I think that would help. But wherever we can do the most damage in a good way, I think is where we should land.
I still don't understand. What are you losing if you go to the YMI?
Well, I mean, what we would be losing is the
It's a
African
liaison and a secretary.
Well, that too. But the African American in city and county is gone. That's the main thing. That's why I feel like it's, that's what the African American, it would be gone. It's not in city and county no more. Not to say it'll be gone, but like you said, mentally it's gone from city and county. Mentally it's gone. Mentally it's gone.
So if you remain,
because it's like saying, it's on the flip side of it, it's like saying, the city and county don't have a home for African Americans. So that's what makes it kind of difficult. The statement that they made in 2014 that they wanted to have a home for the African American, that was powerful. Not to say that, we definitely got to work with the YMI. That's so important and close. Ms. Debolo?
For me, I don't really see it as a win or lose situation, because if I look at it like that, it would feel as if it's a battle, something that we have to win or gain. Again, I just even with all the other entities that exist under the auspice of city and county government, I just feel like, we're, as a Black entity, we seem to always get pushed to the wayside, in my opinion. And just even with this decision, I appreciate that it is a staff recommendation, but I would love for us to have an ability to come to some sort of decision-making process as commission members outside of just a city and a county staff recommendation. But I don't necessarily see it as for my apprehension is based on we're losing or gaining anything.
Mr. Jones?
I know I have been involved with the African American heritage since I joined with the county's communication side. And one of the challenges is kind of keeping the momentum going and growing in terms of activities or things that this group wants to achieve. And so it's just a struggle. It's one of those things where it's kind of been just like spinning in circles instead of actually moving forward on some things. So it's just, how can we build a commission that's present, active, and showing up in places? And it can't be done by one person alone or less. You have a quorum. There's spots for almost, 9 people on it, and we struggle to get 5 here. And so it's just one of those things of what's actually happening. And so from a outside perspective, I know one of our goals in terms of engagement was to kind of get people familiar with the African American Heritage Commission. And as we mentioned we say in 2014, that makes this 10 years now. So it's one of those questions of, the question from the community, I would say, is what has the African American Heritage Commission done? And so it's just one of those things. How do you jumpstart yourself? How you present yourself in a new fashion? It's almost like a new way in which YMI is coming back out with a kind of rebirth and a reemergence right now. So it may be an opportunity where various, it's just reparations ending up. It can just be a moment of where things are changing and where African Americans find themselves and position themselves. And as an active voice, I know in terms of with the county as well, to get things done, you show up to commission meetings, you show up to those meetings, and it can't be the same few all the time, but you come and you bring others with you, and that's how you move. Almost that kind of sentiment. The squeaky wheel gets all the attention. The African American heritage, their issues in our communities, we have to be showing up, screaming. These are the things we want to change, because, you know, if you're not present, then various things may happen without you being present and not being informed about those issues. So it's just one of those things of looking at it in various ways. I think, especially with equities placed in the city and the county, I think those issues of our community is present. So even without the commission, I think it's still present within these organizations. However, a presence of staff or liaison to the commission still gives it that credibility and keeping y'all formed in terms of the governing bodies of the city and county. And those are just things I would just bring to the forefront, and just us being more, you know, just very transparent and, you know, realistic on some of the challenges that we're having. How can we overcome some of those challenges so this commission can be effective and efficient in how it's seen and how it moves through the community?
Ms. Mills?
I just want to put it out there that when reparations finishes, then the equity office of 4 people, along with the county, and they have a little bit more than us on top of the work that they're doing, have to work to implement those recommendations. So our work is not done when that's over. I don't mind being a liaison to a board. What I do mind is constantly we're not doing anything. So we tried having every other month meetings so that you could do working meetings with the county. That didn't work. So I'm not sure and it's fine. If you decide that you don't want to transition, something has to give. Because this reparations, like I said, the board work, and it is tremendous. Salah can attest to that. Leonard can attest. It is tremendous. I have felt like I had 3 jobs. And then to come to a meeting where we have nothing on the agenda to do, the community engagement team, and I am fussing because you want presence, but you're not showing up to have presence and to come up with ideas about things you can do, and we just need to know what it is you want to do, right? And how you want to do it. When I was an economic development specialist in community economic development, I had 3 jobs. I had to do business inclusion, I was public art, and I helped with the industrial incentives. That piece of public art down on Lexington Avenue, I had to put that together. That was a 6-month process. On top of that, I had to help with business inclusion, contracting for the city. There's a lot going on. And so if you're going to be a board that wants to have that presence, you got to show up. Y'all have to do the work. We're here to shepherd you. We don't do the work. We support you in that work. You say we want to have, because I think you guys were talking about a conference or some kind of engagement thing. But I don't know if you were waiting for us to put it together, because if you're waiting for us, you're going to be old and gray, because it's just not doable. I spend probably 2 nights a week, or 3 nights a week. I work all day, and then I go to IFA meetings. So I have 70-hour weeks. And then this last meeting, I spent hours calling people. Are you coming to the meeting? Are you coming to the meeting? We can't do that. I know people have lives. So do we. So I want to know what you lose. I haven't heard it yet. What do you lose if you decide you want to marry with the YMI, if you have city and county ex officio members? And there will be an evaluation in a year. If the council approves this. If you don't come in at unanimous, they're not going to approve it. So don't even worry about that. I'm a little surprised to hear the change in heart, but if this is what you want, then this is what you get.
Me personally, I don't have a change of heart. I mean, I think it's a great idea as far as working, being with the YMI. It's not a change of heart for me. It's a concern. I think about my children. I think about my children's children. I think about my children's children as far as the African American heritage. You know, and it's not African American Heritage Commission is not only about arts and culture.
In history.
In history, it's not only about that.
And the moving forward.
Yeah, it's moving forward. And with especially with the time that we've been in, with all this confusion and all these things that's happening, you know, and we had to adapt and change and move and still try to strategically plan to do what's, you know, do what we think is best in our community when, you know, throughout, you can see in history, you know, as far as our community, the people are working more now than ever together, trying to put things together and figure these things out while we still fighting against something that don't really want to change. So, you know, it's kind of it's a strange situation that we in. So I'm just trying to, you know, I just want to make sure as far as this commission that we're not overlooking something, that we're not missing out on something. You know, like you're asking about, you know, what are we missing out? What are we going to lose? You know, I want to make sure that, you know, if I don't have the answer, you know, it's other people here. You know, I want to make sure that we are really looking at this thing. Like I said, they wouldn't establish if they didn't feel there was a need to have, period. And, you know, when you tell me there's no home, you know, when you tell
what
me
I mean by don't misunderstand me. You need to be with people who have like-minded missions, not
Right.
just the YMI. If you're going to be in the city, what department has the type of capacity to help you do the things that you need to do, right? If I had to do that Pack Square Visioning, I'd have quit my job. That was a big lift. And that took a lot of organizations, a major department to do that. We just don't have that. So I think, you know, I paid for a facilitator, right? We've done the things he asked he gave possible things that you can do. Maybe you go back and address that and see about some things that you want to do. But even in that facilitation, as much as we publicized it, told everybody, 3 people showed up out of 9. And I don't know what we do. I'm concerned, right? That you're just going to keep sailing along and not feel the community can feel the impact that you can make. You can still align with the YMI. Like Anthony did not come to us. I came to Chair Griffin to say, what do you think? The vice chair came. He couldn't meet with us. He had an emergency that came up, but we talked about it. We brought it to you in December. If you want to keep talking about it, that's fine. Now, because you did meet out of sequence, because you didn't have an October meeting, we had to do the annual report. You do have to meet again next month. That's your regular meeting day. And then you'll skip a month and then you'll meet again in April. But if you're not ready to vote on this, we can just shut down the conversation. It is totally fine.
Well, I don't really think it'd be smart to vote on this today until Mr. Thomas, you know, talk with his board as well.
Right.
Well, let me say this, because I don't want to be that cog in the wheel either. I think it's going to be really important for y'all as a board to figure out what y'all want to do before I take it to my board, because I want to be really clear when I present it to them, and I want to be as transparent as possible, and I don't want any surprises for the board, right? So, you know, having these initial conversations and figuring out what y'all are okay with or not okay with is fine by me either way. Like I said, we got a ton to do. I got a ton to do. I just see, you know, the part that I think is going to be really, really important, and just from, you know, me being looking from the outside in, not specifically at you all's organization, but all of the work that all of us do on the ground in the trenches, at some point in time, we're going to have to concentrate energies, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to get things done in this town. We're going to have to concentrate energies there's so many people working in so many different silos, and everybody trying to make sure that they don't step on toes. And then when toes get stepped on, things get funny. I do not want to be in that position, and I don't want to put the YMI in that position either. So I think, the next step would be is y'all, figuring out, either the answer to that question of what are you losing, or proposing something different. Maybe it's another organization, maybe it's not the YMI. But whatever that is, then we can have that discussion, and then I will take it to my board. I don't want to go to the board not clear on what I'm asking them to consider. I already have enough time. Some of those things y'all got going on with your board, I got the same thing going on with my board. So let's be real clear. I understand the pain. We got 13 board members, but we got 7 strong that show up. You know what I mean? So I get all of that. So I would just encourage you all to, have conversations among yourselves. If y'all are ready, if and when y'all are ready to have that conversation, the YMI will be open to entertaining it. I support y'all either way, and however we can help, we got your back. Just let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Mr. Oliver?
Thank you, Commissioner Debelow. I saw you first, and that let me get to Brenda before she got me. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. All right, question. If the AAHC was to go under the YMI, would we still have the county liaison? I'm sorry if I'm asking stupid questions, but I'm just trying to make sure everything's
You're
clear.
probably just misunderstanding what I'm saying. City and county would still have ex officio members.
Okay.
So somebody from our office, maybe somebody from Linda's office, we would not be voting members. We would just be representatives over there.
That helps
I said
me
that
out.
straight up last time.
Yeah. No, but I wasn't getting it. I don't speak in ex facto terms, things like that. So I'm going to say that's what my thing is. That's what I said we'd be losing, that backing, that right there, the way to say, hey, we have a direct line to city council. Because yes, anyone can recommend something possibly around the city, but to have that force, that backing to be here in their face. Because sometimes the city has ignored the YMI. Sometimes the county has ignored the YMI. The county and city cannot ignore the county and city independently. I like that connection of it, but I think that would be the only thing. But you just explained that wouldn't happen. So yeah, thank you for clearing that up.
So I'm sorry, could I ask the question?
Yes.
And who are you?
Dwayne McAfee. Is there a concern here that either of these two entities would lose their effectiveness if you combined? Or is someone looking at the fact that if the commission and the YMI did combine forces, can you articulate to me where that would be a benefit and an improvement as opposed to what we have right now?
Anthony Thomas, and I think that's a great question, Mr. McAfee. I think that's a great question. Who's going to answer?
This is interesting. So your question is, you want to know the positive part about being with the YMI? And then maybe it's not even positive, negative. It's all positive working with the YMI. It's all positive. It's not even this part of the conversation, I guess, where the doubt or whatever people are hearing, it's not coming from the YMI. It's not coming for working with the YMI. It's not coming from, us four being on some committee at the YMI. We still can do all of those things. We still can do it and go hard and be 100 about it.
No, my question was kind of more on the lines of effectiveness. Are the groups more effective, beneficial, separate as opposed to being tied together?
You know what? I don't even think that could be answered because like Miss Mills and Mr. Jones and myself, and you know, a lot of us who've been here, and I'm sure you know as well, you know, having people to show up and come and do the work, that's the main thing. We got to have folks here to do the work. You know, we could try to move forward if it's just 2 or 3 of us who showing up, or you know, not quorum, and we're not able to make decisions and we're not able to do anything. This is an issue. This has been an issue. This has been an issue for a while, you know, with boards and commissions.
Right.
So, you know, and I appreciate the county and the city for, you know, they basically been holding us down. You know, it's to a point where we have to decide if we go, you know, we got to get off the Similac. We have to get off the Similac. And we have to move and function, you know, and not have so many people just, you know, having in so many, in the lack of words, babysit us. You know, we got work to do. This community need us, you know. So being with the YMI, you know, that's for me. And born and raised here, I cannot have no qualm with. I cannot have a problem with that. You know, just me personally, and I know yourself and we, you know, I know, you know, we can't, but as far as, you know, people showing up to work and ready to do the work, you know, I think that's the #1 issue that we have. And it's almost, you know, most of us who are on the commission now, we all are new, besides myself, you know, everybody is new. So it's sort of unfair to you guys. You know, the ones that's here, it's sort of unfair to you all because you all are new, but this has been historically since the commission has began an issue. You know, the city has recognized it, you know, and offers, you know, make some changes. You know, this commission fought for us to be where we are. And, you know, even after that, we still having these problems. So now we got to figure out, you know, mildew or barbecue, what we gonna do? You know, which way we gonna go? How we gonna move? You know, if we gonna do it, then let's do it and stick to it and get it done. You know, but other than that, you know, I don't know. That's my little spiel on that. Anybody got anything, comments?
So I'd like to say something to Dwayne McAfee.
Yes, sir.
The main reason for me to want to participate on this board is because, and I am on the reparations committee. I want to just throw that out there. But what I find more than anything is we need community engagement. We do not get out and represent ourselves in a way that would allow the community to feel good about the YMI, to feel good about this committee, because you all know that from the community standpoint, that's not a high grade in our own community. YMI, this committee is not considered with high marks. Now, if we understand that, and then we say that it is vital that we have these 2 networks, then what are we doing to change the narrative? Now, I like the fact that we're a new committee because that means technically we don't necessarily have the burden of the past committees as long as we are accountable and do what we need to do. But we are aware that there's a stigma. So what's in the pipeline from this committee or from the YMI so that we can engage with the community? Because every day we are not engaging in the community is a day that we are getting further and further behind. And that's my spiel.
Anyone else?
I'll just say this, Mr. This is Anthony Thomas, and I just want to speak to that. I wasn't going to speak to it, but I will say to that, engagement is a 2-way street. And in my time of being at the YMI, yes, there's a long history There's a long history there. One of the things that we're, going through in our new strategic plan is we're not going through just a renovation of a physical building. Renovations of physical operations, board makeup, activity, and all of that. But we also need community to engage in us as well. And so you can provide the project and you can provide the program. We need community to engage with us as well. And as a community, we have to move stigma. If we continue to hold on to past whatevers, we'll never move forward as a people. We just won't. I'm very aware of the long history of the YMI, and I've witnessed all the different transitions that it's been through in the 32 years that I've been here. I know I'm not a native, but I've been here I'm 57, and I've been here half of my adult life and been in the trenches. And, there's nothing more frustrating than offering a program that can benefit our community and go out and hand out flyers and knock on doors and community don't show up. So it's a two-way street. So we got to figure out what's the secret sauce to create that two-way engagement.
So Dwayne McAfee.
Mr. McAfee, if you could hold, we have one other person in front of you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Ms. Pruitt.
Shalinda Pruitt. I'm trying to take everything in that you're saying. I hear the validity, especially before I was here, I was at the time like, Lord, Brenda, I feel you. I had 3 boards. I understand everything you're saying about that. So I am curious to know with the new director, how she feels, because should we stay, this is maybe going to be on her plate. Like, how does she feel about inheriting this? I'm curious about that. Also, from a situation of branding, I work for Asheville, and we are gearing up for everything with YMI as far as how we're going to help push them or promote them. I know they're redoing like the ballroom, stuff like that. And one of the things that we have to recognize is we have a venue. We have a Black-owned venue here. That means we can bring Black-owned comedy, special, whatever we're thinking, concerts. We have a say in that. So there will be things, I'm sure, as the YMI are rolling out their calendar, there is room for things. But I also see what I feel like we would be losing as a board, as a commission within itself, is autonomy, because we won't exist. That's what we're going to lose. We won't exist. And when you think of the movement, because there's always a movement, thinking about civil rights, and you have NAACP, and you had the core, and you had to say, they didn't fold and say, well, let's all just be the NAACP, because we need the numbers in groups showing that we're organized at every level. We are very fortunate to be one of the few cities in the entire state that even has this commission. And for us to not kind of figure out where within this commission, what do we fix? Because if we're not showing up for ourselves, why is it that we think we're going to show up for YMI? So I think there's it sounds like we need to evaluate internally our own processes before we just take whatever we have and mix it up with whatever they have, because if we're only taking our problems to their problems. And so I think we have to clean that up. But I do think we as a board need to decide, can we stand as a board? And agreeing with what Tiffany said, there are a lot of new people here that have a new skill set that they haven't had an opportunity to help contribute, so there's I don't think it's as dark as, can we turn this around or not? But again, I'm new. So, I haven't witnessed everything you're saying, but I know our people. And so I believe what you're saying. But, I personally hope that we are given another little chance with some of the newer people to see, can we turn this around? But I'm very interested. Like I said, I don't want to add more onto with the board in a minute, because I swear I know what you're going through. So I'm definitely interested in hearing how she perceives this role. Is this something she feels like, I don't know, that as we're getting acclimated, we got new staff here and we're training them, and they have so much going on. I don't know that we could give you what you need 100% at the level that Brenda was at, or no, I'm excited to be a part of the commission. I want to be there. I'm curious, because that is kind of the back end that we're going to need as far as infrastructure and support as well.
So Salamanaya Merritt, new Equity and Inclusion Director. Thank you. I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Shalinda.
Thank you, Shalinda. So I will say, like all of you are saying, or most of you are saying, this is new for you. This is also new for me. I am about community. I'm working for the city, but I'm also about community. I think it would be a little premature for me because I haven't had an opportunity to take a deeper dive into what you all are doing and what you have done. But I'm here to support as long as you are here under the city's umbrella, right? And so whatever you need from me, but I would like, so I understand you'll be meeting again next month, right? Is it next month, Brenda? I would love to be able to come back to the table and see what you all have come up with. If there's some ideas that you have, and then the opportunity for me to kind of go back. Are there meeting minutes that I can kind of review? I need to be able to look at some information before I can say if I think it's best to go with the YMI or best to stay with the city. I think that would be premature at this time. But I will say that I'm here to support in whatever decision that you all come to.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Griffin.
Anyone? Ms. Mary? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to, Dwayne McAfee, I just wanted to go back and touch base a little bit about the fact that we know that our community does not show up, and it seems to be no matter what program it is, it doesn't matter whether we try to do it in the weekend or the weekday. It doesn't matter if we try to feed or not feed. It does not seem that whatever has been tried, we're making a connect with the community. And I have a very good observation as to why that is. Loss of trust and faith. And if we want to have an impact in the community, we have to restore some of these words that we're not using enough anymore. Character, honor, credibility. I think if the community sees, and I don't have a dog in the hunt where it comes to the board or the YMI, but whatever vehicle we decide to use, it needs to have wheels that turn and
I hope we all can agree that whether we stay where we are or move to a different location, that we should begin a strategic plan on how to partner with the YMI immediately so that we both can use our numbers and our networking and get in the community. I agree with what Commissioner McAfee said. There are going to be times where people don't show up because, like you said, lack of trust, lack of faith. And we're going to have to keep at it so that they see that we're there. Eventually we'll get there. We'll find, if we keep trying, we will find the one that works. But I am guilty of this. If we don't show up, there ain't no trying for any recipes, none of that. It's not possible. I'm done, y'all.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Devereaux?
Tiffany Debelow here. I too agree with everybody's input. Going back to Commissioner McAfee, trust, but then there's that piece of, are we even showing up in other spaces and places to build relationships? Like, even though there's silos within organizations, but there's silos individually. So when we're talking about we want to build a plan or a strategy, first we need to be showing up in places where we put in our face to other people's events and other people's gatherings. So as we begin to look at what we will do and what we plan to do, we really got to be strategic with connecting with folks and rubbing elbows in all arenas. Not just what's comfortable for us, but even in uncomfortable spaces. But I'm all for definitely collaborating with the YMI. But again, that representation matters. And similar to the way when they restructured boards and commissions and our white counterparts fought to save their spaces, we want to fight to save what we have, even if it's a little bit. And not to the piece of we may lose power or lose entity, but the fact that it's been so many years we haven't had a place at the table. And I'm really big on that. And I believe that, we have this opportunity to utilize whatever little bit of ability we have within the structure of county and city to infuse power with the YMI and other entities that haven't been brought to the table as much. But I also want to recommend that this conversation continues to next month because it doesn't feel like we're actually going to get anywhere today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
I do think Brenda was before me, but I can go if
I'm
she.
sorry, Brenda. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're almost at time. All I want to say is before we lose quorum, can we vote on the minutes, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as read and amended.
I second that. Aaron Griffin.
We just need a roll call vote.
Shalinda Pruitt,
Yes.
Tiffany Debelow,
Yes.
Brandon Oliver,
Yes.
and Aaron Griffin, yes.
Mhm.
Did I miss anyone? No.
McAfee.
Mr. McAfee.
Mr. Dwayne McAfee, sorry, sir.
Minutes,
Trust us.
minutes from the last meeting? Okay, present.
All righty.
And then my comment was simply going to be was that if y'all have spaces on this committee and people as passionate as they vocalizing today, find other people that want to do the work that you want to do, so this committee can really, as Mr. McAfee meant, be a wheel, but a wheel that got traction and moving forward. So that means checking with the people on this commission, see who really want to be on there. You already have a strategic plan. I think over the years, y'all done crafted, massaged it. I think y'all on the right track. Y'all just need to start moving. And that's being authentic and honest with each other to say who really want to be on the commission. And if not, maybe it's a position. We know Miss Sherry is left, so there's a spot. So as Tiffany was saying, show up in other places, find people that's like you, that want to do the work that y'all want to do and the passion that you're showing.
And I can't raise my hand because I'm driving, but I do want to say that I appreciate everything that's been said here. I agree with Salah. Whatever it is that you all determine that you want to do, the YMI is going to be there for you. I can only speak for myself for as long as I'm going to be there. But I think there's some synergy that can happen, whether you all come to the YMI or if you all stay individual. I think that work can get done. So just know that, we're good either way. We're good with y'all either way.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Appreciate your time.
Oh, absolutely, man. No, this has been good. It's been good. I've never seen Mr. McAfee before, but now I know another face. So next time I see him out in the street, I can say what's up. That's good.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the face will not improve. It will look the same the next time you see me. So just deal with that, okay, bro?
I'll go with that, brother. I'm good with that.
So, Leonard, I'm sorry. From what you just said, I can gather that you are not part of the commission. You're part of the county.
The county liaison to
Okay.
the board.
Okay. Well, it's still good seeing your face. So,
Thank you. Yours as well. Thank you for applying for the position.
It's been a long time.
yeah, and quite frankly, I am optimistic that we're going to be able to get some serious work done because there's a need everywhere we look. I could just do this wherever it lands. That's where we need to be.
Yep.
So I would just really encourage us to really, really get busy about being, positive and strategic about what we say we're trying to do. I don't want to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm doing enough already.
Absolutely.
So if we can be effective and positive, I'm all in 100%. And I can assure you, I will show up.
Thank you,
And
sir.
if I show up, I expect every damn body else to show up also. I do not play games.
Please
Okay?
please don't swear on.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so I better shut up.
We're at time.
Okay.
Unless there's another comment.
Any more comments?
I'll see if there's anybody in the queue.
No.
No, there are no calls in the queue.
Okay. So our next regular meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 11th.
No, it's in
Sorry.
February. Sorry.
That would be February
The 8th.
the 8th, 2024. And we will remain virtual. Check on the city's engagement hub for more directions on how to participate. Any questions, any more comments before we adjourn?
Mm-mm.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.